So Sean Strickland is fighting Abbas Magomedov this weekend, and his interview for that fight was absolutely chaotic. And I'm going to take you through some of the moments that I know were making UFC staff members and UFC higher-ups absolutely panic beyond belief, because there's no way they want Sean Strickland as a champion. He would maybe be one of the funniest champions of all time. He has one of the best personalities in the sport, but I know for a fact that the UFC higher-ups are desperate and are just preying on anything that Sean Strickland does not become a world champion, because the amount of things that he said in this interview that would be such a huge news story and problem if he said it as a champion is alarming. I enjoyed the interview, but I know that the way the world is right now is different. So we're going to go through some of the moments. Sometimes he talks about Adesanya and Duplessis. Sometimes he talks about other stuff. And we're going to get into them, but I'm going to go through all the key moments of the press conference. We start here at 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the press conference. He's been asked about Israel Adesanya and Dricus Duplessis.
Is he the Chinese, the true Chinese? They probably...
Straight away. Dude, I swear, my video brought so much awareness to that Chinese video of Israel Adesanya, dude. So much awareness to it.
They probably want to bring a real African back to the championship. Hey,
dude, it's just like he's doing what Dricus didn't do, and they really called Dricus out on. You know what I'm saying? Sean Strickland is going where Dricus Duplessis would never dare to go, because he's Sean Strickland. And the weird part is, when Strickland says these things, it's so expected of him that it's not shocking anymore. You know what I mean? So he really goes in, and this is why I would love, if Strickland wins this one, for him to move above Costa, move above Vettori, and move up to number 5. And if the winner of Whittaker-Duplessis can't fight Adesanya in September, I'd love the build-up of the Adesanya-Strickland fight, because Strickland would genuinely make it so entertaining. And he doubled down on this whole Israel Adesanya's Chinese thing in the press conference beforehand. But let's go through this again.
Chinese, they probably want to bring a real African back to the championship. Hey, can you guys believe that shit? Is that real when he says, look at the color of my skin? Did that really happen? Is that real?
He didn't say, look at the color of his skin. He was gesturing towards his skin and saying, Izzy did this thing where he said, look at me. You think I'm African, right? No, I am a Chinese, which is incorrect grammar. But either way, this is what he's referencing, that video of Israel Adesanya, where he gestures to his skin and says, look at me. You think I'm African, right? Or something like that.
Did he say the color of his skin?
Yeah, no. You know what I'm talking about. You fucking know, you GQ motherfucker. Did that really happen?
I believe, yeah, when he was fighting in China regularly, he said he felt like he was a representative of the...
Yeah, so this fucking clown, this fucking loser, bro. They need to revoke your black card, bro.
Dude, dude, he's literally going where Dricus would never dare set foot right now, dude. Dricus made a slight comment about Israel Adesanya that barely meant anything other than the fact that he wanted to be the first African champion out of Africa, training out of Africa, that represents Africa. And he got stopped right there by all of the media and Israel Adesanya. He got stopped in his tracks and is like, no more from you, Dricus. But Sean Strickland is just absolutely berserk, tard raging his way through that line that has been drawn in the sand and doubling down on everything that Dricus has said, but taking the Dricus stuff to a whole new level here.
Yeah, so this fucking clown, this fucking loser, bro. They need to revoke your black card, bro. I don't even look at you like a black man. I look at you like the fucking Chinese. This fucking asshole, bro. No, this is real talk, bro. I don't know how Izzy goes and hangs out with his black buddies and represents Africa, because, dude, you're fucking a clown. So this motherfucker, dude, for
He just...
you, because you haven't seen it, there's a skit of him saying, look at my skin. Look at my skin color.
He doesn't say skin or skin color, but he gestures towards look, and he gestures towards his skin, is what Strickland was trying to say there. But he never says skin, which the media pipe up and defend Israel Adesanya for here in a second.
You might think I'm a black man from Africa. I'm wrong. I'm from China.
I don't think he brought up skin color. I think it was just nationality.
Whatever the fuck it was, dude. Whatever the fuck.
I didn't remember that part of it.
But either way, guys, I'm not I don't fucking know these things, but yeah. So I guess they want a Chinese versus an African champion this time.
Dude, he's gonna... I know for a fact the UFC staff members are going, we got a Strickland. We got a code Sean Strickland right now going on at the press conference. It's a code Strickland. You know what I mean? They must have like a code for a Sean Strickland related incident at a press conference where first of all, this Maclife interview in no way is ever going to get monetized. This video likely won't get monetized either. So how are they going to monetize Strickland in general if he's just going berserk at these press conferences every single time? I'll get to some other stuff in a second, but I wanted to show him touching on the Adesanya Duplessis stuff.
Yeah, fucking revoke that man's black card.
Jesus, dude. He's like everything Drickus wishes he could be, almost. We move on to 10 minutes and 30 seconds, dude. I wonder how Adesanya... You know what the weird part is? Because of just the fact that it's Sean Strickland, Adesanya will rage and like racially insult Drickus Duplessis, but he'll probably laugh at Strickland saying this. There's something about Strickland where now it's sort of like what we've come to expect from him, you know? So it's a little bit less shocking to hear this stuff at a press conference. It's like whenever I see an upload of a Sean Strickland press conference, I'm like, here we go. Time for another one of these. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to it.
So forwarding to these fucking dirty Brazilians.
Like this, he uses it as a segue. Tony Kelly, Andrea Lee's boyfriend, was absolutely torn to shreds by the MMA community by saying dirty Brazilians. He's using that insult as a segue into another conversation, and wait till you hear what the other conversation's about, because he goes even deeper, and we got a code Strickland on our hands at the UFC press conference here.
Fucking doing, you loser. So forwarding to these fucking dirty Brazilians, it was nice, man. They have like a good community. They fucking barbecue. They hang out. You know, it was some good wholesome shit, man. Americans, we need to go back to like taking women out of the workforce.
I'm not going to give my take on this topic, okay? I'm not going to give my takes here, because my takes in these sort of situations are dangerous for YouTube. But either way, it's such a, the UFC. I wouldn't be surprised if they're genuinely like bringing the HGH. We're literally injecting Abbas Magomedov with every chemical known to man. Somebody get John Jones to spit in a cup. We're going to somehow inject it into Abbas before this fight with Strickland. They must have been absolutely panicking because they know of the headlines this is going to cause. And I hope they just let Strickland keep doing this. And I need to stop seeing Strickland at main events of fight nights. We need Strickland as a staple of a main card of a pay-per-view from now on, because that's where he's at his best.
It was some good wholesome shit, man. Americans, we need to go back to like taking women out of the workforce. And maybe that's where we fucked up, you guys. We let women vote. No offense. But let me I want to tell you guys something. Think about America prior to women voting. They try to ban alcohol. I don't even drink, but I'm not trying to ban alcohol. So what you did, man, you let these women come in the workforce. Now we make less money. You got kids raising themselves on fucking TikTok. We need to go back to like 1942, especially after, maybe 1958 after we fucked up the Germans. We need to put women back in the kitchen.
Dude, I can't do the freaking, they're definitely going to have a conversation with him after this, dude. I've never seen Strickland go this hard. You know what I mean? I've never seen Strickland go this level at a press conference before. This is ultimate Strickland. You know what I mean? He's feeling good. I think it was because he had a sip of that Monster Energy before this press conference that's on the table right now in front of him. I think he genuinely had a sip of that, and it's just taken him to a whole nother level of Strickland here. I'm surprised there's not more headlines, but I think it's just a thing where if it's expected from someone, the reason for a headline is because the headline's going to be shocking to people. But I think people would genuinely see that headline from Strickland and go, oh, well, another Sean Strickland interview then. And it's not going to be as effective to cover it. But he's just he's going off. And if he was a champion and saying this, I bet you CNN in America would be having a massive whole segment about the problematic UFC champion. What are the UFC going to do about Sean's? I bet you anything. if he was a champion and saying this, there would be a lot of pressure on the UFC to punish him for this. So I'm actually kind of worried that it might change the rules of the UFC because Strickland's going to stretch those rules as far as he possibly can.
You know, maybe 1958, after he fucked up the Germans, we need to put women back in the kitchen. We need to take fucking, only one man needs to be working. So I think as a collective man group, we need to elect somebody that's going to put women back in the kitchen.
Look at the stuff look at the face that he's doing. He's literally looking at the media members for a reaction from them as he goes through this. I wish I could give a bit more of a take on all of this topic, but I'm just going to let Strickland say it for me, I think, at this point, guys.
Put one man working, raise the wages, and build a fucking wall.
At the end, just that one last thing, and then the eyes to the media members like, you guys going to chuckle at this or be angry? What the reaction am I going to get from this one? I think he's leaning into it, chat. There's no chat. Fucking hell. I think he's leaning into it. I think so. I think Sean Strickland has he wouldn't be doing this all the time anyway, but I think he's got to a point now where he's just like, time for my stand-up comedy routine at a press conference. So he's not leaning into it, but he's like, really, this is now as much of a moment to him as the fight on the weekend is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this, upcoming this week, I've got my big press conference and then the fight of the weekend. And he's going about it in an interesting way that's definitely going to make the UFC absolutely panic beyond belief. We move on.
The problem with therapy, I think they would just convince me to, like, fucking start killing everybody.
You know what I mean? Like, this is just, I'm just going to leave it at that sentence there. That's something that's going to be like, and Strickland was, before the attack, he was quoted saying at a press conference 2 years ago that he would go on an attack. You know what I mean? He's like giving breadcrumbs as him as like the suspect of a future crime here. We move on to 13:37 into the video. So way ahead. Here we are. What you got to say now, Sean Strickland?
12 minutes before you started, and we finally got to gay.
Listen, I love the fucking gays, all right? Calm down.
Oh, wow, so wholesome, dude. Really, really nice and accepting of Sean Strickland. Really, really nice. I didn't realize I'd put in a wholesome moment here at the press conference. My bad.
Hey.
Listen, I love the fucking gays, all right? Calm down. I don't hate your fucking life choices. I don't hate your fucking husband.
I like he says now Oscar has become gay by asking him about it pretty much. He's like, I don't hate the way you live your life, Oscar. Like all of a sudden he's just sort of made Oscar gay as the subject of his conversation here.
But anyways, I'm not a huge fan of the...
Okay, well, there's another thing. There's another headline there. Just let that one slip out. Little wholesome moment about the gays, and then boom, he goes from Team Jeff Molina to, Team Nunes or anti-Team Nunes. I don't even know. I don't want to make too many takes in this video, but either way.
Choices. I don't hate your fucking husband. But anyways, I'm not a huge fan of the...
Now, they mute out that word, but I'm assuming you can guess what he said. Basically, he was saying that he's not a big fan of the people that were protecting Shia LaBeouf and the Allspark from the Decepticons. If that's how I'm going to navigate the YouTube algorithm here. He was just not a big fan of the, Megatron and, Starscream and all those other guys that were after Shia LaBeouf. That's just all he was saying. So, that's another headline. I'm telling you, dude, UFC staff members, if he wins this one, I don't think they're going to be willing to just give him a title fight versus Adesanya. They're probably going to go, oh, you beat Abbas, here's Chimaev, here's Ikram Aliskerov. They must be panicking backstage about this. His fucking stupid face. Every time he's at a press conference, it's like the media members must be like, okay, let's try and steer the conversation. Oh God, he's talking about, okay, that's xenophobic. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, they must just be on eggshells in the media as to, like, how do we steer this guy into a decent conversation that's not going to get him completely terminated from the UFC.
But, anyways, yeah, man.
Like that little pause there. But anyways, looking for the reaction of the media. There's more. There's so much more. 17 minutes into the interview. He says something at the end as well that's just so funny as well. 17 minutes. I missed this. This is what Look at his fucking face. This is what more fighters should be doing at press conferences. They don't have to follow the same rhetoric as Sean Strickland, but they should see it as the same thing that Strickland sees it as, which is a show. It's a part of the show to put on a good press conference. And look at what he's sort of built for his career off of it. His podcast, his YouTube channel, he's built so much off of it. It's this. It seems like in the UFC, it's this, or it's cringe, like Adesanya and Chandler, or it's absolutely the most boring thing you've ever heard in your life. And if those are the only three options right now, I'll take this in Sean Strickland. You know what I mean? I'll take this over, I'm the new dog in the yard. You know what I mean? All this stuff that Adesanya, I'm going to be unleashed. All that weird cringe stuff. And then, we're going to find out Saturday night. That basic thing that all the other fighters say. There needs to be someone who brings in an alternative that's not going to get the UFC so unbelievably mad at them. Because remember, Disney owns the UFC now. And Disney's a big fan of the people that were trying to defend Shia LaBeouf and the Allspark from the Decepticons, if you know what I'm saying. So, I don't know. They're definitely going to have some emails go round about him.
What do you think of Jared Cannonier's performance over Marvin?
Oh, man, Marvin, dude. Marvin's on that short bus. I said beat Marvin, but... No, here's the thing about Marvin, you guys. I always say Marvin's dumb.
Here's the thing, you guys. You can't say I'm making that up when I do the impression. He said so many times in this interview. So here's the thing, you guys. And here's the fucking thing, guys. Let me tell you something, guys. Anyway, so always, that's his main segue.
No, here's the thing about Marvin, you guys. I always say Marvin's dumb. But he's not dumb. He's not stupid. The man could probably count, I think. And probably counts better
I think.
than me, dude. I fucking dropped out of elementary school. I mean, I was homeschooled, but whatever, man. That still counts. As you can see, my social skills, I'm learning as I go. So...
See, there's no other fighter getting laughs. You know what I mean? There's no other fighter that has punchlines. He's better at... Joe Rogan needs to have a conversation... No, I don't even think he does. I was going to say Joe Rogan needs to have a conversation with Strickland to say, you should be a comedian, dude. But I feel like when people become comedians, they become less funny. Because you can see it's so intentional that they're trying to be funny that it almost makes them less funny in the process. Joe Rogan is not funny, but he's a stand-up comedian. I almost feel like Strickland never mind. I was going to say Rogan should have the Shorb talk because way better alternative than Shorb in the comedy world in Sean Strickland here, but I almost feel like he shouldn't. Just let Strickland be on the loose at these press conference, basically. We move on to another moment, which is at 21:02. Only a few more moments I want to show in this press conference, but I don't know, dude. I just love Sean Strickland press conferences because I know the UFC back behind the scenes is losing their mind about what he's saying, They're probably on brace. They're bracing themselves as he enters the room, the media room.
So, here's the thing, you guys. She was hot, right? She posted a picture of her.
Oh, no, dude. This is the one about the dead woman. And although he does make some points in the fact that everyone cared about her, but no one cares about, that Brazilian dude that died, and no one really made a big deal about that, it's still come on, man. Do we need to... anytime you hear the words, so here's the thing, you guys, from Sean Strickland, it's going to be problems after that.
Here's the thing, you guys. She was hot.
This is the woman that died. She was hot.
Right? She posted a picture of her laying on bed with her ass out. I liked it. I mean, I've kind of felt guilty for liking it, but I fucking liked it, The only reason why people posted her, again, what Dana did, honorable motherfucker. Dana's seen it. It got posted to her, and Dana's like, I'm going to do the right fucking thing. So I respect Dana for doing that. But then you have all these bandwagon fucking idiots, dude. They go and they...
I mean, it's kind of like the Stephen Bonner thing that even he was speaking out about again, where everyone all of a sudden cares once they're dead and it becomes a big thing online, but no one cares before they die. It's there's so many parallels to that in the world of MMA, in the world of real life in general. With DJ, I'm not saying he died, I'm not relating him to a dead person, but no one cared until it meant nothing that they cared. If everyone had cared about DJ before he went to ONE FC, the deal he would have gotten with that amount of increased support would have been way crazier than the deal he actually got. but people only cared about DJ when their caring could no longer help him. If they cared about him at the start, we wouldn't be having the conversation about a trade with him and Ben Askren. But they only cared about him when it was too late. Same with rappers, right? Rappers in the US, they die and all of a sudden they're like the best rapper ever you would have been the best ever. All of a sudden everyone starts liking them when they're dead, when it's useless to do so. So he has a point here, but still, man, like, leave it a week or two. You know what I mean? Let's give it a week, Strickland.
I look at this little white girl's Instagram. Meanwhile, let's set the stage. A Brazilian fighter got hit by a fucking bus and died. No one gave a fuck about that guy. When I read it, I was like, God damn, dude, if you can't dodge a bus, that's why you're not in the UFC.
You got kids, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a man with kids, Strickland. Can we ease up on the fucking... Can we just ease up on the jokes? Jesus Christ, man. Can we ease up? Like, he's a family. Like, there's still a family out there. You're cracking jokes about his horrific death at a press conference. Like, oh my God. We move on to another moment, which is at 22:41. Let me get through this before I am demonetized forever. Jesus. 22:41. What is this one even about? I've forgotten about half of them, so they're just new stuff to me.
UFC. And it was good, man. Have you ever been in a fight before?
Yeah.
I mean, you're Mexican, bro. Where are you from?
I'm Colombian.
Colombian. Okay, there we go.
Same thing.
Were you from Colombia?
I was born in Miami Beach, but my family's from Bogota.
So are you Colombian?
Yeah, my whole family's Colombian. Yeah.
Okay, are you sure you're Colombian? What is Colombian? What is the ethnicity of Colombian? Is it just Colombian?
Hispanic.
So what you're saying is you're a fucking American. You're a fucking American with Hispanic roots. And if you're a fucking Colombian, get your ass back to fucking Colombia.
He's covered everything in this interview. He's done what Drickus got cancelled for. He actually has... He's like... Strickland is the cancellation Thanos, collecting the Infinity Stones of like previously cancelled souls in the UFC world. Is the only way I can explain this. He's stolen the stone of Duplessis, which is to talk about Adesanya being not African and doubling down on that. Then he stole the moment from Cody Durden telling Aori Chweleng to go back to China here on a random news reporter as well. And he also stole another thing from someone that I was going to bring up there. But it's just like, you know, all good.
Hispanic roots.
I agree with this, though. I think it's weird that people do that. I don't know. I actually spoke about this in stream a while ago. I was saying I always found it weird how people with like Hispanic roots in America, they will sound completely American until all of a sudden describing that they are from Ecuador. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden the accent completely changes. I find it cringe. I'm not saying this guy should go back to Colombia if he doesn't claim himself as a US citizen here. But I always found that weird, especially you see that with Latino women with like that heritage in the US. They'll speak in the most basic bitch accent of like, yeah, we're totally doing that because of course I'm from, Latino, and then all of a sudden it changes and they're fluent and they grew up there all of a sudden. When no, grew up in America, but I'm not going to get too into my thoughts on it. Just another interesting point from Therese. Ended by him ordering a man back to his own country in Strickland's terms there, if he doesn't claim being from the US, which I think is healthy.
And if you're a fucking Colombian, get your ass back to fucking Colombia.
Okay, it's just going through the motions here of a Strickland interview. There's one last one that he says, and I know whatever media PR person was sort of handling him for this must have felt like, a punch when he said this. Like, oh, God, I got him to say that about Pimlet.
But you know that one fucking fag from you guys, that one fag that you guys have, but you know that...
Okay, dude, he literally doubles on it twice here. What are we experiencing?
Yeah. But you know that one fucking fag from you guys, that one fag that you guys have, the fucking guy with the gay haircut, Patty. But like, see, I'm not that guy. Like, he was giving that one guy shit for representing England. Motherfucker was like, he was from some shitty country, came to England, and he's representing English. He has an English flag, and I give that motherfucker props. Like, I'm not gonna hate on you, dude. You go to a country.
Yeah, true. I do agree with that one, Maclife Pimlet thing. Maclife was trying to be a patriot because he represents the UK, because he says the UK gave him all of this opportunity, and Pimlet was going after him. That's an L Pimlet right there. You know what I mean? Team Maclife for sure, and that's why Maclife was getting like massively cheered, which I think, just in general, to end this, more US fighters need to do the whole USA type thing, but in like a less Colby Covington, Sean Strickland way, if they want to be accepted by all, I guess. But I think that's missing, man. A bit. You never see a US fighter just fucking amped up to be from the US. You see Mike Mallet gain a whole audience behind him by being super pro Canada for the Canadian, and he's pro Canada. Why would you be proud of Canada? You know what I mean? Like, at least the US has something to be proud of. Like, I think they need more of that, because you see it with Maclife. He's not even from the UK originally. He came over when he was young. He spent like the later years of his growing up ages over here, and then just because he embraces being from the UK and likes it, he gets the whole crowd behind him. So I think, just to end this, more US fighters need to do that. But I just thought we'd go through the absolute PR minefield of a Sean Strickland interview today, because it was excessively crazy in this one, which is, not shocking. As soon as I see a Strickland uploaded interview, I'm watching it, and that's what we get. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pit. But I just know, trust me, if you see some weird management of Strickland's career moving forward, if this wasn't a clue enough that the UFC aren't really too keen on having him at the top of the division, then you know what it is, because they definitely aren't a fan of this. And I know for a fact, if he was champion right now, and he was at a press conference saying this after a championship win, which I don't think he ever will be, but he might end up being one at some point, I bet you there's going to be so much mainstream pressure on the UFC to start enforcing some kind of like anti-speech policy and like limiting language of fighters. I bet you. So I actually think it'll be better for the sport to keep Strickland as a contender for now, because if he becomes a champ, he could change the rules of the UFC forever with some of the stuff that he says. See you later. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. Goodbye. See you later.